The Goose That Laid the Golden Eggs. Once upon a time, in a tiny, weathered cottage with a leaky roof, lived a farmer named Silas and his wife, Miri. They had very little, just a small patch of land, a few chickens, and their dearest friend, a gentle white goose named Glimmer. Life was hard. Their roof leaked when it rained, and some nights supper was just a thin soup. But Silas and Miri were kind, and they always shared the last of their bread crusts with Glimmer, who would honk softly as if to say, "Thank you."
One morning, Silas went to the barn to gather eggs, just as he did every day. But this morning was different. Glimmer was sitting on her nest, looking very proud. And underneath her was not a normal egg. It was heavy, warm, and shone like the sun. It was pure, solid gold.
Silas and Miri nervously took the egg to the market. The baker, the butcher, and the candlestick maker all gathered around, their eyes wide. The merchant gave them a huge bag of silver coins for it. Silas and Miri ran home laughing. That very day, they fixed their leaky roof, bought warm new clothes, and ate their first feast in years. They had never been so happy or so full.
And the next morning, Glimmer laid another golden egg, and another the next day. Soon their tiny cottage was repaired, with a new stone chimney and bright flowers in the window. They were the richest couple in the village, and for a time they were so grateful. They gave Glimmer the freshest berries and the sweetest oats.
But a strange thing happened. The richer they got, the more they wanted. "One egg a day is so slow," Miri said one night, tapping her fingers. "If only she laid 2 a day," Silas sighed, "we could buy a carriage with velvet seats." They stopped feeding Glimmer her treats and started watching her, not with love, but with impatience.
One night they sat at their table, counting a giant pile of gold coins, but they weren't smiling. "It's not enough," Miri whispered. "It's so slow," Silas agreed, his eyes fixed on the gold. "If she can make 1 egg, she must be full of gold inside. Imagine, Miri, we could have it all at once." The bad idea had been born, and it felt like a fever.
The next morning, they didn't wait. Filled with their greedy plan, they rushed into the barn and did the terrible, irreversible thing. But when they looked, the barn fell silent. There was no treasure. There was no pile of gold. Glimmer was just a goose, like any other goose. The next morning, Silas walked to the barn with one last desperate hope. But the barn was empty. The nest was cold. Glimmer was gone forever. And with her, all the magic was gone too. The silence in the barn was the saddest sound in the world. Silas and Miri sat at their table, surrounded by the gold coins they had already saved. But the gold felt cold and heavy. It brought them no joy. It only reminded them of their impatience and of the wonderful friend they had lost. "We cannot let this gold make us ugly ever again," Silas whispered. Miri nodded, tears in her eyes. From that day on, Silas and Miri changed. They used the money they had not to buy velvet carriages, but to fix the village bridge, to share warm bread with their neighbors, and to build a small, safe shelter for lost animals.
They never got another golden egg, but by sharing what they had, they slowly earned back their happiness. They had learned, the hardest way, that true richness doesn't come from getting more, but from giving.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe.